Greetings, my Wonderland dwellers. My name is Bliss, and we are taking our first steps back into the lands of our Wonderland. It's quiet as we walk. The tall clusters of fire-red corridor us in as the river of dirt directs us left and right like the waters in a canyon. Above us, the sky glitters a sunny orange. Not a sunny purple or anything like that. And on our either side, strange flowers of blues, purples, and teals dot the grass between the trees. Any of you gonna talk? Oh right, I forgot to ask. Genzou's hands are in his pockets. What did you wish for? I wish for eternal enlightenment. I blink, frown. My thoughts go back to that voice, that feeling of emptiness as I fell through that hole, and the confusion, the uncertainty, and maybe even the tiniest twinge of fear? Fear? What am I afraid of? The unknown. After all, there is no greater fear than the unknown. I shake my head to clear the thoughts. Nothing. I finally say. Nothing? I look away, force a shrug. I guess I couldn't think of anything. Damn, guess you've got it made, huh? Yes, my wish was to just land in our Wonderland with all of our friends, but they have their own wishes that detracts from our own wishes. I don't respond. I chew on the inside of my cheek, as one does, and glance over at Genzou. I still haven't gotten used to seeing him without his sunglasses, walking like that, looking at me. A part of me is nervous about it, nervous about what it could do to him, having to go back to reality after this. Nervous that he might actually want to stay here. Somehow, I don't know. No, I think he really wants to get out of here just as much as we do. This place is not the Wonderland that we were used to when we were kids. I can't possibly feel what he's feeling right now, so I have no idea what's going on in his head. But another part of me feels happy? Being able to look into his eyes, knowing that he sees me. Why would that make me happy? I don't know. What? That he sees what I look like now and didn't go running for the hills? Didn't start treating me differently? Still, smiles at me? Somehow that smile, it's like that little squeeze he gave my shoulder only the day before. Warm and reassuring. Non-judgmental. Very Genzou-like. We round another corner, and this time the path opens up into a small clearing. An outcropping of rocks overlooks a small pond at the other end. From its peak flows a miniature waterfall, light reflecting off the steady drizzle. I take a step towards the pond, only to gasp and step back. Why, what's wrong with this pond then? Wait a minute. This exact pond. I know this pond. Like it's happening again. What is it, Iggs? It's just... That's when I see it. The rabbit? The rabbit soldier coming around the corner. God damn it! I take a step backwards. Then another. And then another one. And another one. Then quickly twist to my heels and make audible noises in which will alert the rabbit. Slam straight into Genzou. For one fleeting moment, he somehow keeps his balance. Oh no. Then his feet twist beneath him. Great, he goes down. The sound of him hitting the ground sends the rabbit's ears skyward. His head jerks in our direction. I can smell you. Who's there? His spear is already at the ready. She. Genzou scrambles back to his feet. Yeah, that's why we chugged you down in the first place. For some kind of infiltration in the bushes. I'm sorry? I splutter with a flustered wave of my hands. You're apologizing now? With the murder rabbit been breathing down our necks? Yes, he's got a point. Yes, he has a point on that spear. I turn to see the rabbit staring straight at us, and I swear I see the tip of his spear glint, and not the spear that you're thinking of, you dirty-minded viewers. Some of you anyways, I don't know. Genzou grabs my arm and pulls me behind him. Oh, the rabbit cocks his head first to the left, then to the right. His right eye twitches, then widens. You're that fella the king told us to watch out for. He chuckles, laughs, licks his lips. I wonder who the king's name is by means. Does his name begin with Orlum and ends with Orlum? I'll get a promotion for sure if I bring you in. Fresh meat for weeks. No more of that slope. He readjusts his grip on his spear, then charges. Iggy, run! I hear Genzou yell a second before his hand finds my shoulder and pushes me away. But even as I stumble backwards, I don't miss the rabbit making a beeline towards Genzou. He's headed straight for him, spear out front and glinting in the piebald light filtering in through the trees. Goodness sakes! Yeah, we're gonna push Genzou out of the way. Why not? That's gonna be a great thing to do. There's no way I'm just leaving him behind. I dig my heels into the ground to stop my backward motion, then redirect myself forward. I'll only have a second. 1 second. I go careening towards him with everything I have, hands outstretched, and I only just make out him turning towards me in surprise before my palms hit his shoulder. There's a barely audible oomph. Then he goes rocking backwards, half stumbling to the ground. I'm allowed a half second of victory. Then with a gut-jolting rip... Oh. Well, I think we ventured into the bad end, so it seems that the cowardice route is one which enables our survival. The rabbit's spear goes in one side of me and out the other. Oh. Yeah, I think something bad happened here. The head of the spear sticks out somewhere by my left kidney, dripping bits of goo and tissue onto the ground, and Genzou is looking frightened, and I am not surprised. And Genzou's just standing there, staring at me, menacingly. His face has gone white. Iggy? He brings a shaky hand up, eyes trembling in their sockets. Off to my side, the rabbit snorts. You're not the one I wanted. Well, it seems that Genzou is going to rip you a new one, rabbit. Just like one of your leaders would do. Then he swings the spear hard. The momentum sends me flying off the end, whirling and spinning until I land with a crack against the side of a tree. My glasses bounces off my nose. I sink to the ground, and I just lie there. There's a puddle forming around me, one in which I developed, a thick gooey one. Blood leaking out from both sides of me like a double-ended faucet. I hear a shout. Genzou sounds mad. Madder than I've ever heard him before. But I can't turn to look. I can't move anything. In fact, how can I even form these words? All I can do is lie here shivering in my own soup. I'm sorry, Genzou. Oh, do better. Next time on Our Wonderland. Yep, that certainly is what we would call... Unfortunately, yeah, that is what we call a bad end. Unfortunately, you were kebabbed. But you'll do better next time. Would you like to restart from before your most recent choice or return to the menu? Last choice, please. Good choice. Thank you very much, game. So... yeah, what is the skip option? Because this isn't really where that is indeed. Run instead. I'll bring my hands to my head, fingers shaking. No, I've got to run. Run! Not giving myself another moment to second guess myself, I twist on my heels. I'll make it about 5 flying leaps away before I glance back just in time to see Genzou narrowly avoid being skewered by the rabbit's spear. The rabbit goes careening past him, plunging the head of his spear into a tree instead. Thank goodness. Just as I turn back to look where I'm going, I gracefully trip over a stone in the middle of a path and hit the dirt. Of all of it, I don't have the chance to finish my self-deprecating thought, because in the next moment Genzou has me by the collar and is yanking me back to my feet with a hurried huff. What a friend. You choose now to be a clumsy as MF? I stumble after him, weaving a few wide curves before falling in my step behind him. I didn't choose the clumsy life. The clumsy life chose me. As we wake up in the morning, I say between my choked breaths. I see Genzou shake his head in amused disbelief. Yeah, that is definitely what you call a Genzou emotion. Look it up in the dictionary and that's the picture that you'll see in it. If dictionaries have pictures, we go flying down the path away from the dense outcropping of trees and out along a slowly gurgling river. I'm just about to turn back to check for any sign of our rabbit friend when Genzou goes skidding to a halt next to me. I follow suit, eyes growing 10 times the size of my head. What do we have here? Is it a river? Is it a set of clouds? Nope. What we have here is firm ground. Well, foam in question mark. Firm, sorry, not foam. The ground in front of us is no longer, well, ground. It's soft, lumpy, and pink. A giant slab of lopping flesh splayed out across the path. And wide, 20, 30 feet across. It's a ton. And it's connected to the largest eyeball I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. And there's the eye itself. It's round and wet and sitting in the side of a cliff face as though perched atop a throne. At our approach, its oversized pupil swirls with an almost audible rumble to stare straight at us. What the actual goddamn tarnations is going on here? I'd been about to say I don't remember that thing here before, but my head's so jumbled at this point I can't say for sure what I remember and what I don't. So instead I just gulp and look up at that thing. A burgeoning sense of nausea towards my bowels into stone soup. And I take back every moment in my pubescent years where I wish I could get some ton. I quickly scan our surroundings, looking first at the steep rocks to our left, and then to the right on our river on our right, sorry. Just as I'm studying the intricacies of the water patterns, I feel a tug on the hem of my shirt. My head snaps down, eyes refocusing themselves just in time to take in the sight of a small creature staring up at me. Is it a plant of sorts, or is it something else? Oh, hi there, is it a plant of sorts? I jerk backwards with a cry of surprise. What the hell is that thing? Genzou comes up behind me just as I've recovered enough to ponder that same question twice. Sorry, myself. I see as twice. It's small, only coming up to my knees, but its head is large, puffy, and oblong. And red. Bright red. Almost like a tomato. You want something, little guy? I ask as I pop a squat. It wobbles something that word which I can't say, then waggles his tentacle-like arms off to the right. I swear when I'm not recording I can pronounce certain words. I turn my gaze in the direction it's pointing to see a neat wooden bridge stretched across the width of the river. A bridge? My brows furrow. Wait a minute. Bridge. Why is the word bridge sticking out like a sore thumb in the deep recesses of my mind? You're trying to help us, Sven? Are you, little dude? Now it's Genzou's turn to kneel, though he has a lot less height to lose. The creature joggles its arms again with a happy wobble. I was going to say heavy wobble there. It certainly seems like it wants to help us, though I can't shake the oddity of that bridge. There's no way I wouldn't have noticed that when I was surveying our surroundings earlier. Is it a fake bridge? I turn to look at the hulking ton again. There's a stagnant pool of saliva saturating the dirt in front of it, and that giant googly eye is still watching us. I clench my hands and my curls with a groan. There you are, says the rabbit. I spin around. Yep, there's the rabbit again, only to see the rabbit at the end of the path, spear pointed right at us. My heart promptly drops into my stomach. Great. Goodness sakes, Genzou takes a step backwards. Even our tiny acquaintance brings his arms up to his mouth in fear. What are we doing next? I can already see the rabbit rearing up for a charge. I have to make a choice now. Bridge or ton? The bridge or the ton? Well, we have not yet experienced what it's like to go over the bridge, so let's try and go over the bridge. There's no way I'm crossing that ton, especially when this little guy seems so keen on helping us. I spin around to face his bulbous head and point emphatically at the bridge. Take us there, quick! It nods in fright, then grabs my hand and begins to run. The two of us jog to keep up, making a beeline for the bridge. By the time we clamber across it, my lungs are burning for air, and sweat is leaking down rivers down my forehead and neck. I throw a hurried glance back to check on the rabbit and see him just standing on the other side of a bridge, staring at us. What? Can't it cross bridges? He's not following us? Genzou asks with a wheeze. He's leaned forward with his hands on his knees as he fights for breath. I guess not. I look back and forth between the rabbit and our new friend, who is now smiling up at us expectantly. Are you expecting something from us, Ben? And why is it that the rabbit cannot go over bridges? Are rabbits allergic to bridges in this universe? Maybe this is some sort of, I don't know, protected area? Genzou wipes his forehead with his sleeve and gazes around. Seems sus. Among us sus, but sure. I swat back down next to the small creature, cutting an errant lock of hair behind my ear. I wonder if this creature is going to murder us. Thanks for that, little guy. Who knows what that rabbit fellow would have done to us? My words of appreciation are met with a happy squawk. We're actually trying to find some people we know. You ever seen any others like us, have you? You know, 2 legs, hair on our head. Not every single one of us have big ears like Genzou, but, you know, 2 legs, 2 arms, clothed, you know. The creature brings one of its rope-like arms to its mouth as though in thought. Then it seems to brighten, and it begins making happy squeaks and pointing further into the woods. Seems like a yes? I stand back up, maybe the others came through this way too. Genzou is looking off in the direction the thing pointed, one eyebrow raised. He doesn't seem convinced. Can you take us to them? Asks the creature with a smile. It nods vehemently, then begins bouncing off towards the trees. Come on! I motion to Genzou and follow. Somehow Genzou is not convinced. It gets darker the further we walk, the trees more closely packed and their leafy canopies completely overtaking the sky. Canopies. Chilly too. I rub at my bare arms as I look around with my bare arms, trying to stay close in step with our guide. Are you sure this guy knows where he's going? Genzou hisses. All I can do is grimace. This certainly doesn't seem like somewhere we'd find the others, but who am I to say, really? Let's see, suddenly our new friend comes to a stop. It looks left, then right, and from the dark gaps between the trees, I spy other dots of red. First one, then 2. Oh my goodness sakes, it all looks so creepy. What is it with all of you? They emerge from the shadow like scampering squirrels, all of them looking at our friend and us in curious wonder. There's more of them? I throw a furtive glance between the approaching creatures. The hair on the back of my neck is starting to curl upwards. This is starting to seem like a really bad idea, Iggs. Yep, I agree with you on that statement. This seems like a very creepy and bad idea. Genzou scooches close towards me as he eyes our new visitors. Yeah, I think backpedaling might be the wisest choice. Maybe they're his friends? His friends, maybe, but ours I'm not so sure of. I take a step towards our guide, one hand out in what I hope is a sign of non-aggression. Yep, that's the last thing we'll ever think of as non-aggression. Hey, what's going on? Our guide turns around, smiles, then that smile. Ooh, gross! And lots of pointed teeth as well. This is not a good-looking sight. We might be devoured within these dark woods. His lips pull apart and a horrifying sharp row of teeth emerges from the middle of his bulbous head. I thought these were all plants. Or maybe carnivorous plants. Iggy! I feel Genzou's hand on my shirt, fingers clamping into the fabric and pulling me back. Damn, but now the other creatures are following suit. All of their mouths spitting into to reveal row after row of teeth. All of them smiling and smiling as they move closer. Do not come any closer, you know. My heart drops into my stomach and I twist to my heels. Genzou, run! I shout as my shoes dig into the dirt, but it's too late. The creatures closest to us hiss, and then they're on us. One flies onto my back, its teeth chomping down on my shoulder. My body arcs backward, and my vision flashes bright as pain shoots up and down my arm and spine. I reach for it, fingers desperately trying to curl one around of its tiny limbs to wrench it off. But then another one clamps down onto my arm. I see its teeth sink into the flesh and the bone come bubbling up between its lips. I throw my arm out again and again, trying to fling it off. But one on my shoulder bites down even harder, then jerks its head back, ripping off a huge chunk of skin and muscle. That was once a part of me. How disrespectful. I don't even register the scream that leaves my lips. The pain is everywhere, radiating up and out from my shoulder, sizzling like fire across my arm. Iggy! I hear Genzou scream and try to find him through my warped vision. But as I step forward, a third creature leaps towards me, hitting me right across the chest and knocking me backwards. I hit the ground hard, my head cracking against the dirt with a sharp thwack. Before I even have a chance to collect myself, the thing on my chest moves. It opens its jaws with a wide, toothy grin, and of course, then tears straight into my chest. The pain is immediate and immeasurable. Clawing, wrenching, tearing. My vision blurs, doubles, twists. Fingers grappling uselessly at the dirt, so it's basically a night out with the boys. Through the haze, I see a rising mass of pink and red and realize it's that thing pulling my insides out, draping them across its jaws like a length of juicy sausages. I gasp, choke, a wrenching croak pushing past my lips as I feel my skin stretch and rip. The other two creatures have joined in, digging further inside me and tearing off hunks of flesh in great, greedy gobfuls. I stare up at the trees, my arms and legs go limp. Vision fading, fading, fading. Just when I wonder how much longer I'm going to stay conscious, one of the creatures appears smack dab in the middle of my vision and bites off my face. Okay, it wouldn't be, the neck, which would be instantly effective, but no, the face. You have to chomp off my face. Now how am I going to look pretty in the mirror, Like you could wrench off everything else, but not the face. Unfortunately, you were eaten. But at least Rabbit didn't get you. Yeah, that's a positive. Right? Right? Bloody monsters. Would you like to restart from before your most recent choice, or return to the main menu? Of course, without a question or shadow of doubt, last choice. That's a good wise choice there. So, with that in tow, we know that this little guy only wants to help us so that we will be indebted to its services. And then from there, chomp us all up as if we're its prey. No thank you. We're not gonna be your prey, you little bulb-headed munchies. I am going to pick the most illogical choice in the entire universe, and we're going to walk on this gigantic behemoth of a ton when the Wait a minute, why didn't the choice come up? I suppose if a game knows already, then it doesn't even give you that choice. God damn it. Do I notice how close we are now to that all-seen... I was waiting for the choice to come up and then select that choice, but I guess the game was locked into that choice. This choice now. Genzou glides down next to me. Neither one of us makes a sound as the wobbling pupil of the eye dilates, focuses and stares straight through us. I can see a tiny twitches of movement, just ever so slight, jumping back and forth between us. Quiet. Moisture dribbles down my forehead and cheeks and past my collar to tickle my spine. Not my spine. Quiet. My hand moves before I can stop it. It slaps down atop Genzou's, seeking out that safety, seeking out that one feeling that could possibly calm the panic rising up in the back of my throat. I catch Genzou shooting me a look of unsure bewilderment as my fingers dig into his knuckles. But before either of us can do anything, a sudden shadow overtakes us. Is it that one of the eye? I look up just as Baton's giant tip curls around and around and around, stretching towards us like a probing worm. The slab of wet flesh engulfs both of us at the same time. But at the same time, at least, we're not eaten. It presses into our necks, chests and faces, squirming and wiggling as I wrench my head to the side with a gasp to keep from suffocating. Massive globules of sticky saliva drip onto my head. Cling to my curls, drip over my eyes. It oozes and curls up and down my skin, grind into my hair, slapping at my ear, my chin, and, how dare it, my collarbone. The panic is rising up again, claw at my chest. I can't breathe, can't see. It's in my hair and eyes and pressing against my mouth. It's going to take years to clean all this off. My hand is so tight around Genzou's now, I can feel it shaking. That's when Genzou's hand moves. It twists away and out of my grip, and for a moment, my heart freezes with a cold dread. Then it twists back, repositioning itself even though the sticky sliminess of the saliva so that it can take my hand properly. Fingers intertwining with my own, like little lovebirds. The dread melts away, and the panic twisting my shoulders into knots uncoils itself. I'm breathing properly again, even through the mucus-like muck, my apologies. Even through the wiggling leech sucking at my cheeks and forehead. I focus only on his hand. Finally, the tongue pulls away, leaving me looking like I've just been frisked by a slug. I peer over the blurry lens of my glasses at Genzou, who looks similarly depredated. If I never have to experience that again, it'll be too soon. But no sooner has Genzou's smart retort left his mouth than the giant watery pupil of our captor moves. It whirls backwards, pulling a full circle before returning to its previous position. Only this time sporting thousands and thousands of tiny lines. They're all going to be eyes of their own. Yep, all eyes of her own. One of the lines pops open, revealing another smaller eye, and then another one, followed by another, and then another, popping open by the hundreds, countless dots of white atop the shuddering surface. And then, the biggest line of them all, one that bisects the entire eye, splits wide open with a giant roar. I always want to be appetizing, but not like this. Genzou screams as the creature shrieks again. Yeah, I want to be appetizing, just in a more romantic way. Behind us, the tip of the tunnel has uncurled itself, and now the entire tunnel is rising again, tilting, forming one monstrous slide of doom that ends straight inside that nightmare's mouth. I scramble into motion, but the higher the tunnel tilts, the further I slip. It's all I can do to keep from tobogganing straight down to the ever-widening maw. Iggy! Through my panic, I see Genzou brandishing what appears to be a screwdriver. Yep, every bike mechanic needs a trusty screwdriver. Never leave the workshop without it. Genzou, is this really the time for... Yes, it's time for some piercing. Before I can finish my question, he slams the sharp metal end into the quivering flesh of the tongue. The reaction is immediate. The beast howls, so loud it feels as though my heart's twisted into vertical nothingness. Then the tongue jerks, flails, wreathes in pain. Grab onto me! I don't have to be told twice. Here we go again. I launch myself against him and latch onto his waist. Never before have I held onto something so tight. Well, this is the second time we're doing this. I dig my face into his belly. My breath hot against the swath of exposed skin. Focus on Genzou. Focus on Genzou. I close my eyes, cleaning as tightly as I can and trying to block every ounce out. Everything but the feeling of warmth beneath my arms and against my cheek. Above me, Genzou's clutching desperately at the handle of the screwdriver. Jaw taut and muscles tight. Another roar from down below. It's getting really angry now. The tongue bucks, thrashes. But somehow I keep my grip on Genzou. And somehow Genzou keeps his grip on the screwdriver. And the screwdriver is somehow still impaled into the beast's tongue. The roar morphs into a wail. It's at that moment that I feel something on my leg. Oh, this is new, isn't it? It clenches around my ankle with a snap, jerking me down a good few inches on Genzou's waist. I let out a squawk of surprise and tighten my grip. It's another ton. This one long and thin, but still very much porphyrious and pink. And it's curled itself so tight around my leg that it's cutting off the circulation of my foot. This hasn't happened before. Happened before? How could this have happened before? I shake my head, shake my leg, but its grip remains strong. It gives another tug. This nightmare really is getting worse every time we enter it. Even as I squeeze my arms around Genzou, I can feel myself slip another inch down. Genzou? I see him readjust his grip on the screwdriver, his fingers shaking. Another tug, harder this time. I slip down around Genzou's knees by this point. If it keeps this up, it could pull both of us down. Unless we can do the ultimate sacrifice and let go. There's no way of making out of this, but I can still save Genzou. He can make it out of this. Find bugs, figure out what's going on, fix all of this. But me? When have I ever been able to do anything? Shut up, Iggs. You can always do stuff, you just have not realized it. I let myself slip another few inches down Genzou's leg, my grip loosening. I'm the one that started all of this. I was the one who had us open the door. I'm the one that lets things get this bad between us. I squeeze my eyes shut. Another tug on my leg pulls me down to Genzou's feet. I'll use myself as a distraction. Make that fiend devote all its attention to me. Then Genzou should definitely be able to get away. I bite down my lip and suck in my breath. One more tug and then I'll... Oh, a hand on my shoulder jolts me back to reality. And I shoot my gaze skyward to see Genzou glaring down at me, his fingers clenching the fabric of my shirt. Don't you goddamn dare! I blink eyes wide. Don't you give me that look! I know what you were thinking, but Genzou, we have to... We're getting out of this together! The crackle in his voice stops me in my tracks. At this time, when the tongue yanks down my ankle, I squeeze myself against Genzou's calves, jaw clenched. Genzou's hand shoots back to the screwdriver to keep us from flying off. He grunts, looks from the screwdriver, to the tongue, to me, and finally, can you reach my pocket? Not sure I want to try taking my hand off again. I can try. I wince again, trying to pull myself back up. The eye must not like this because the tongue around my ankle gives the strongest tug yet, yanking me all the way down to Genzou's shoes. Shh. Genzou's eyes nearly bug out of their sockets. Just hold on, okay? He grits his teeth and I see him take a deep breath before grabbing for his pocket. His hand comes back out holding his lighter. How about a little tongue flimbley? He says with a grin far too amused for our current situation. With one flick, two flick, he gets the flame dancing, then holds up against where the point of the screwdriver is piercing the pink flesh. It takes about 5 seconds for the eye to react. There's a roar from beneath our side. Then the grip of my ankle finally loosens, pulls away as the larger tongue beneath us bucks and bobs. Another roar. Pain this time. I can practically see the surface of the tongue reefing and curling away from the flame. Just when I wonder how much longer it can stand it, the muscles beneath us grow suddenly taut. In one whip-like movement, the tongue reels back, then chucks us forward. Genzou and I go flying like rocks in a slingshot, like a trebuchet. First a few feet off the ground, then slamming into the dirt and rolling 5 feet, 10 feet, 20, but finally and unceremoniously slapping onto the pebble-strewn path like a pair of wet fish. I was trying to select the bad option and die, for goodness sakes. How dare the game give us the means of being able to not die when we want to? I'm joking, but I actually thought, if we sacrifice ourselves, then Genzou may have a way of being able to get out of this, but why the hell would trying to resist be the bad outcome? Maybe resist option would be the one that would actually pull us both down. Twin puddles of saliva turn the ground dark beneath us. My head's still spinning. I'm not even sure I'm still conscious at first. I open first one eye, then the next. Then, with a groan that's half agony and half disgust and entire shameful, I push myself up on my palms. Thick, clammy streams of goo stretch between my skin and the puddle. Genzou rolls over. His cheeks are painted with glossy droll. Not glossy droll. Hey, Iggs. If I ever ask how much worse it could get again, please just stab me. Stab me right in the face. Wait a minute, what do you mean by again? He says before hacking a gallon of saliva onto the ground. What do you mean by again? If you say again, it means we've seen this more than once. And I don't like these kind of intertwining things going on. I rub my face until it's raw. I feel disgusting, dirty, defiled, like I'll never be clean again, like I've got eye saliva seeping into the crevices I didn't even know I had. We're in the shadows of the river, up to our knees in the water and rinsing our hair, our clothes, our mouths, our sanity. Genzou's taking his jacket off and is kneading it atop his knee like a washboard. His hair sticks up in errant wet tufts. Tufts, yeah, that shudder with each jerk on his shoulders. I watch him for a few seconds. If we weren't in a horrific wonderland, currently fighting for our lives just to survive, the sight might almost have been picturesque. Like the two of us were on a trip together, hiking or camping or something. The thought of Genzou trying to pitch a tent nearly summons a laugh from my lungs. Yeah, just the two of us. That'd be nice. I blink. Of course that'd be nice. Anything besides what we're currently doing would be nice right about now. Genzou sees me looking and shoots me a wave, nearly dropping his jacket back into the water in the process. I wave back, feeling somewhat awkward. So yeah, if you want to survive in a game like this, then the best option would be to do the stupid option and somehow survive. Like, thinking that we should be the ultimate sacrifice in the scenario, or walking on the ton rather than the obvious bridge over the ton and over the water. This whole thing has got my head all weird. So, Genzou claps his hands together once he makes it back to the bank. Now that we've almost died about 50 times, again, are we allowed to go back? He shrugs his jacket back on before pulling his cap over his curls. Not that I don't share your sentiment, but we've literally done nothing. We haven't even found anyone else yet. I was afraid you'd say something like that. Nevertheless, I, Genzou Ichihara, shall stay by your side as your loyal and trusted knight. Oh, since when did you get all gallant? Last I checked, it was you who always took off at the first sign of getting caught whenever we were doing something we weren't supposed to do. He probably slaps my shoulder. Since you lost all goddamn reason and we've been doing nothing but nearly getting us killed, you idiot. Somebody needs to be the brains of this outfit. Since when were we an outfit, And apparently, it's not going to be Mr. Hotshot Programmer over here. Excuse me, when did you call us? And when were we ever a programmer? Hey, he has a point, to be honest. My head's been a little all over the place. And another thing, Genzou whirls back around, this time with a finger pointed right in my face. Any more of that noble sacrifice stuff out of you and I'll off you myself. Are you really that anxious to throw your life away? Hey, because of the choice that I made, we didn't die again. Think a little more highly of yourself, would you? I stand there in silence. I don't know what to say. Genzou huffs and crosses arms across his chest, clearly peeved. Finally, sorry. I bring a hand up to my curls, scratch at my scalp, then turn my gaze towards the ground. Guess I wasn't really, thinking. Genzou's face softens, hardens, then softens again. Yeah. Just don't do it again, yeah? You're, important to a lot of people. Yeah, like 5 people. He lets his arms fall, then crosses them again. Anyway, now what? We're no closer to finding anyone than we were before becoming Wonderland's most wanted. When we were kids, we were Wonderland's most wanted, but in a different way, a more welcoming way. We're most wanted now for being somewhat criminals. I run a hand through the damp ringlets of my hair and peer out across the landscape. I don't, but before I can finish, a flash of moon catches my eye as it departs. I turn my attention towards the far bank where the river twists around to form what looks like a small beach. A dock has been erected on the sand, and a boat is slowly gliding its way over from the opposite direction. Do you think we should A, take this boat, or B, do something else entirely and not go on this boat towards a potentially dangerous destination where we will find a friend that will try and perform an operation on us? Genzou follows my gaze. He narrows his eyes. That's freakishly virtuous. He's not wrong. But at the same time, no, I remember this. The sight of a miniature white riverboat is enough to bring fuzzy, shifting images bubbling to the surface of my brain. Yeah, and I remember when I used to have wet dreams every night during my teenage years, but you don't see me anxious to return to that, do you? Am I right or am I right? I ignore him. Instead, taking a step forward and towards the dock. Iggy, and then I'm off, jogging towards the boat and the river beyond. Goodness sakes! Genzou clutches his hat and starts after me. Can't you listen to your logically sound knight for a change? No, because you're not my knight. You might be logically sound, but you're not my knight. I get to the wooden steps of the dock just as the boat comes to a halt on the other end of the pier. Jesus! Genzou huffs behind me as he runs to catch up. To the left of the dock is cheery red and white sign with the words Kiddie Cruise with a K rather than a C. Thanks, America. Past it, I see the river fork with the right channel leading back along the direction we just come. By the way, I mean USA, not the entire Americas. We just come and the left landing deeper into the unknown. I point towards a boat like some sort of overwrought tour guide. We could take this, better than walking for sure. Iggs, are you even listening to the words coming out of your mouth? And what does the logically sound knight suggest? Going back for a picnic with the giant man-eating eyeball? I jerk a thumb in the direction we came from. I don't think that's what Genzou is trying to point at. That's... Genzou's glances from me to the boat, then back to me. Come on, it'll be fine. Don't you remember riding this thing? You used to love it. I urge as I start up the steps. But don't you remember the actual last time we tried to go along this thing? It's not the ride itself that was frightening, but the destination itself and who awaits there. Iggy! Genzou follows, but none too happily. I just have a weird feeling as all. Almost like... Except that his sentence is cut off as he runs straight into my back with a pillowy oomph. A jovial, high-pitched voice has stopped me in my tracks. We both just stand there for a moment, glance at each other. What's going on here? Come and ride the kiddie cruise and sail over waves for days. Adventure like you've never had. The end of your mallies. Someone's seen? Oh, it's that plaza again. I step towards the railing and lean over for a peek at the ground below. It's a flower. Brilliant white petals adorn its oversized head, and its glossy green leaves shimmy with its dance-like movement. Shimmy. Genzou steps out of the railing next to me, blinking curiously. That's different. The flower twists atop its roots as though looking up at us. Cap of orange, scent of height. The pallid yearnings you cloak in trite are more glaring. Oh no, not this again. Don't ever poke holes at somebody's disability, inability. For goodness sakes, do not say that, please. I raise a brow. What's that supposed to mean? Means a cheeky flower's about to get his roots flayed. That's what. Genzou starts climbing up and over the railing. The flower brings its leaves up to its chalky yellow batwort, as though slapping its hands to its cheeks in fright. It recoils at Genzou's approach. This gentle flower locked in its earthen cage warms not the fruits of your misplaced rage. Genzou snorts. I can't help but laugh. It's just a flower again. No need to get so worked up. Yeah, but I don't think you're in the position to be bullied at by saying that one's sight is within the context of the situation. Says the one not getting ridiculed by it. Just ignore it, come on. Genzou huffs but calms. He adjusts his cap on his head with a cavalier twist, nods once at the flower, then steps back towards the stairs. The flower wiggles its leaves as time turns its attention to me. Afraid to reach out, afraid to try. But if fear rules your life, life will pass you by. Stop, blink, stare down at the flower. The word strikes something in me, and my fingers curl tight around the wood of the railing. Fear her, the flower of all knowledge. I chew on the inside of my cheek, as one does again. But why does this flower know our weaknesses, or our insecurities? What do you want, Iggy? A sudden sensation on the back makes me jump, snapping me out of my reverie. I flip my head back to see Genzou eyeing me concerned. Hey, you okay there? Got all quiet all of a sudden. He pulls his hand back. I just stare at him for a moment. My chest feels funny, tight and floaty at the same time, like I'm standing at the top of a tall cliff and wondering if I should jump. Just say no to the choice, okay? No matter how stupid something like that is, do not ever take the option of yes to jump. Even though I said earlier that making the stupid choices ensures our survival. That's one stupid choice which won't. Don't ever let gravity be a factor of saying yes or no and leading the other outcome, which is not your survival, to be the demise of your survival. I finally turn away, running a hand across my clammy forehead. I'm fine, I'm fine. Just a flower, ain't it? Isn't that what you just told me? Exactly! Don't make us eat our own words. Ballsy things just spouting nonsense. Yeah, spouting. Because it's sprouting like a flower. Anyways. Yeah, you're right. I concede sheepishly. Guess I would be too if I had to stay in one spot all day. I finished with a laugh. You got that right. Am I right or am I right? I've been going out of my mind. Come on, let's get on that boat. At least we can be able to appreciate every single particle of a particular scenery if our birth was rooted to the earth. We start up the steps, wood creaking beneath our shoes. The boat is still anchored at the end of the dock, almost as though waiting for us. It bobs up and down gently in the current. See? It looks fine. I toss a hand towards it. Genzou doesn't look quite as convinced. He peers down on it, hands on his hips, then brings a hand up towards his chin, joining his fingers. I can hear him mumbling beneath his breath. He starts pacing back and forth between the boat's bow and stern, almost as though inspecting it for faults. Does it have your seal of approval? Not yet. I guess it looks fine. I don't know, Iggs. I've just got this really weird feeling about it. We'll just be extra alert, I say, before promptly stepping forward and into a boat. I'm just going to go into the jaws of defeat while thinking about if I'm actually going to go into the jaws of defeat. Genzou starts and half reaches out as though wanting to help, but then just as quickly pulls back. He waits for me to sit down on one of the wooden benches before clambering in after me. For a moment I worry that it might sink beneath our combined weight. We're quite a bit larger than we were the last time we rode. But it ultimately holds true, because the last time we rode we were just as big as the time before when we were actually much littler. Is there something we need to do to get it started? Genzou takes the seat across from me and glances around. I don't remember. Classic. Fortunately, we're not left in the dark for long. Only a few seconds later, the water wheel in the back slowly chugs to life, almost as though our presence is required for it to start up. With a shudder, the boat begins to glide across the water. The river is calm, smooth, and the boat cuts through the water like butter, slowly but steadily. Once it reaches the fork in the river, it turns left automatically, taking us further away from our cottage, the rabbit guards, and that hellish ocular creature. Genzou still looks nervous. I catch him throwing furtive glances from one side of the boat to the other. Try to relax a little, yeah? You look like you're about to have an aneurysm. For once, he doesn't say anything, instead of just grunting and shuffling his feet. I scratch at my bare arm. My still damp clothes cling to my skin cold and heavy, and whenever a breeze rolls in I feel myself shiver. We round the bend, now drifting dreamily past colourful scenery. Knolls of gold and green slope upwards and away from the riverbank, and red and purple trees stretch towards the orange sky. Wait a minute, purple trees? Decorating the ground are flowers of all shapes and sizes, cattails, tufts of white cottonweed, all of it seemingly untouched, with no signs of life to disturb it. Across from me, Genzou looks like he's finally starting to relax. He's no longer shifting back and forth. Pacing, I think that's what it's called. And his face looks more tired than strained. He slides his hat off, scratches at his damp curls, tugs it back over his head. It's not often I see Genzou so uncomfortable, but this is more uncomfortable than when he was when, well, we were fighting for our lives from that ton or from the rabbit. To this day, I'm not sure if he doesn't get rattled easy or he's just good at hiding it. Or maybe an amalgamation of both, if that's even possible with these circumstances. I turn my attention back to the wheel at the helm. It's creaking gently back and forth, keeping us centered in the middle of the waterway and continuing our journey upriver. It's calming. The gentle lull. The sound of the lapping water. I let my eyes flutter closed, taking advantage of the moment to release the build-up tension in my shoulders. The current is likely to pull me asleep before long. When I reopen my eyes, I see Genzou staring at me. I sit up just a little straighter, suddenly self-conscious. What? He looks away, guilty almost. As though I'd been caught doing something he wasn't supposed to do. Just didn't want to forget what you look like. Ah. I bite at the inside of my lip. Oh. I see. As for me, though, that I'll gladly forget. I'm ugly as... Genzou, you are goddamn well handsome and you know it. I mean, wow, I kind of wish I never found that out. Come on, man. Like you said to me, have a little bit more self-confidence. Don't say that. You are not ugly. You are absolutely hideous, though, but you are not ugly. Also, you're not hideous. Don't say that. I say with a roll of my eyes. Hey, I'm just saying what everyone's been thinking all these years. No one's been thinking that. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. You'd be surprised what people are really thinking about you. What they'd say if they weren't afraid of people thinking they're jerks. Instead, I get unhanded comments from my mum's like, "Gonna bit heavy on the snacks, are we?" Look, okay? The snacks are a choice, okay? And that doesn't define who you are. It can somewhat define a lifestyle, but it doesn't define you as a person. And there is always room for improvement for being lighter on the snacks. And my aunt accidentally mailing me a jumbo-sized pack of weight loss tea all the way from Japan. Well, I don't think that, at least. I wonder if saying nothing would be the better... No, I don't think that, at least. Well, I don't think that, at least. I cut him with a frown. You're my friend again. And then softly, I like you just the way you are. As soon as the words leave my mouth, I feel a surge of discomfort rise up in my bowels. I look away, suddenly very interested in the grain of the inch. It's not like it's not true. Genzou has always been just, well, Genzou. One of my closest friends. Our buddy. But somehow saying it aloud feels like that feels weird. And the same sensation in my chest from earlier on the dock is back. The bubbles of not quite fear and not quite not. Very confusing. I feel Genzou's eyes on me. He's not saying anything. And when I finally look up and catch his gaze, he quickly turns away. He rubs at his face, puts his hands in his lap, claps and unclaps his hands. He seems to be looking away anywhere but at me. After a few moments of silence, he stands up with a grunt, wandering over to the railing. He gazes off into the trees. Damn, though, this whole thing is sure bringing back a goddamn hell of a lot of memories. He turns back, half sitting on the railing, and reaches for his pocket, pulling out his carton of cigarettes. I'm surprised they are still somehow intact from the ton adventure. It must take him a moment to find a dry one, because he studies it for a moment. Okay, I just entered that topic there. Then brings one to his lips. One flick, two flick. With 3 flicks of the light of a flame bursts to life, and soon he puffs away, eyes staring vacantly at the side of the boat. There's something about that image. Him leaning against the rain like that. No, don't think about the Titanic. Smoke marbling above his head. Why is it so familiar? Why is it so familiar? Close my eyes for a moment. Why is it so familiar? And when I open them, it's darker and colder, and Genzou's looking about 12 years younger. He's dressed pretty sharp. Sleeves off his sport coat rolled up to his elbows. Tie undone and hanging around his neck. And he has his hair gelled up the way he always used to wear it. After prom. That's when it'd been. He's half sitting against one of the bike racks just outside the cafeteria. Night sky bright with the moon as he sneaks a smoke. I can see him from the window inside, just sitting out there by himself. I push the glass door open with my elbow and step out to join him. Thought you got lost or something. It's chilly without a coat, but somehow refreshing compared to the build-up of teen sweat permeating the gym, and with the smell of tobacco in the air. He glances over the sound of my voice, grins. Me? I'm never lost. Just taking a different route than everyone else. You should have seen Hunar bingo. Lucky bugger won at iPod Shuffle. Genzou stretches his arms over his head. I'm holding out my luck for a raffle. Daddy's gonna win himself a Dell. Oh gosh, not a Dell. In those days probably, but nowadays Dells aren't exactly what we call the best PCs. Confident, are we? I laugh and take a seat next to him. He holds out his water bottle with a little, No thanks. I'm not getting expelled with only a few months left. Whoosh. He shakes his head, takes a sip. Now that I'm close, the smell is much stronger. The bottle had been full when he brought it in. Now there's only about a third left. You'd never get expelled. Everybody loves you. He throws an arm over my shoulder, then brings a cigarette back to his lips. Me, though? They God, they just their best to kick me out of my arse. Sorry. Let the buggers try, I say. He shakes his fist at some unknown entity at the sky. F you, son, for being too hot on certain days, but also F you, son, for not being hot enough when it's winter. When he slumps back down, his body is heavy against mine. But why mine in particular? And why does he slump down against a body? Oh, there. He sits there unmoving. What are you thinking there, Genzou? I can see him gumming the end of his cigarette. Then a hiccup. He brings an arm up to wipe at his nose. Maybe you should really put the bottle away for a while. I wince. Somebody's definitely gonna notice. You know, I'm really gonna miss you. Hmm? Mr. College Boy over here off to bigger and better places, getting your fancy scameracy degree. It's only a half hour away. Not like I'm leaving the planet. Yep, I'm off to see Saturn, while you're stuck here on Earth. Besides, I'll be back. You decided what you're doing yet? He waggles his cigarette between his teeth, smiles, pretends to look around, waving his hand towards our surroundings. Maybe I'll go into bikes. Bikes? Yeah, you know, everybody loves bikes, so by association everybody would love me. I'll be the most popular gent in town. By the time you come back, you'll need an appointment just to talk to me. Well, what about that visit we had earlier on in the chapter about being in the bike store? Is that just because we're buds? I think it's just because we're buds. A bird hoots softly from up against the branches overhead. Yeah, get my own little shop. That'd be nice. Now he's rubbing at his pant leg, again and again, as though trying to rub right through the fabric. He opens his mouth, closes it. When he pulls his cigarette away to let out a plume of smoke, I can see his fingers shaking. Oh gosh. Can I, tell you something? I raise a brow. Of course. You can always tell me anything. His mouth twitches. He's really shaky now. I can even feel it against my shoulder. Yeah, alcohol does that to people. It really brings out the highest of highs, but also the lowest of lows. Again, what's wrong? You're acting super weird. But at that moment, the door pops open. Oh. And Gidget comes running out. A blonde hair dancing behind her. God damn it, we're just about to reveal Genzou's biggest secret in the whole universe, and Gidget has to come running out here and ruin the moment. Iggy, they're opening up a bouncy castle. Come on, you have to go on it with me. Her hands find mine. Then she's tugging me up and off the bike rack. All I can do is laugh. Okay. I throw a glance back at Genzou even as I'm being dragged inside. Come on, Gen. Bouncy castle. We pass by Orlam at the door, who's just watching us, shoulders hunched as he wrings his hands. I catch him throwing a look at Genzou before dashing after us, rat tail bouncing. Wait for me! I frown. Damn it! Benign my memory. Back in the present. I hadn't thought about after prom in I don't know how long. It'd been the last time the five of us had felt like a unit. Our own little group. With honorary member Hunar, of course. Hey! Hunar's full-time member, okay? After that, we'd all gone our separate ways for a while. College, community college, vocational school in Genzou's case. But even after we'd all eventually returned, it had never been quite the same. It didn't really feel the same. We'd all grown up, gone our separate ways, had our own different career paths. Everything like that. Though strangely, we all had returned. Bugs and Humar had, despite Hunar being accepted into a PhD program on the East Coast. Gidget had, despite Lambrook being the last place you'd look for a modeling gig. Even I had, despite a few semi-tempting offers from startups in California. Yeah, these all sound like really far apart places. We have one person on the East Coast, meaning like Florida or any other of the East Coasts of the USA. And then we got X here, California, being on the polar opposite side of the USA. Look at the map. California is west side of US. Almost like, no matter what, something has always been drawing us back here. But I blame Gidget for ruining that moment, because it looks like Genzou was really going to open his heart out towards us there. I glance back up at Genzou, who's now wandering the length of the boat, checking out the helm. He looks so short next to the big wheel that I almost laugh. Don't steer us to any icebergs. Great. It seems that Titanic has really made its reference way here anyway. Sorry. Who do you think's controlling this thing? He muses, giving it a little flick with his hands. Oh, sorry. What do you think's controlling this thing? What do you think makes anything in this place do whatever it does? I gesture vaguely at our surroundings. Skittles. Definitely Skittles. Yes, those little chocolates called Skittles are definitely doing it. I chuckle, hands in my pockets as I let my gaze settle unfocused somewhere around the far trees. It's then that I see it. A sign. It's small and wooden and perched up along the right-hand bank. The words, "Collector's Territory Ahead," has been painted on it in heavy red strokes. Blood red strokes. My gaze jumps to the water, which has started to take on a yellowish hue. For goodness sakes, don't people go to the toilets nowadays? I take a step backwards. My tongue feels like a dry sock against the roof of my mouth. What's wrong? You don't like Skittles? We're approaching the next curve, drifting slowly, peacefully. But something about the air makes the hair on my arms stand straight up, and my fingers tingle with electricity. With a jolt, I grab Genzou's arm and drag him back to the benches. Close your eyes! I push down before he can protest. What? Genzou's brows shoot sky high. I'm trying to press Genzou's palm against his eyes. Just do it! There's no time to explain. We've done this before. I swear this has worked the last time. Close your eyes, don't open until the boat stops, promise me? Jesus Higgs, first you act like I'm crazy for not trusting this thing, and now you're going ballistic. Pick one and stick with it already. Just promise me, okay? Genzou waves his arms in disbelief but closes his eyes all the same. Sorry, eyes. Alright, I promise Jesus. Wait, you promised Jesus? I watch him for a second, making absolutely sure that he has closed them for good. Then follow suit, folding forward and cupping my hands with my palms. Then I wait, sitting there, elbows digging to my knees, toes curled inside my soggy sneakers, and sweat gathering in the crook of my neck. I can hear the water lapping against the sides of the boat. Can feel the rhythm of the water wheel against my backside. The gentle swell pushing us forward. Calm, quiet. I chew on the inside of my cheek. It's an annual thing. It's like every week passing. We have to do it every once in a while. Fingers sticky and my forehead damp. Waiting. We must be past the curve now. A tickle of embarrassment starts to play on the back of my neck. What's wrong with me? Genzou's right. First not paying attention to anything what he's saying, then suddenly freaking out and making him play along? You must think I'm a complete idiot. Tendrils of shame work their way up my chest, making my face feel flushed and hot. My stomach feels like it's been tied in 50 different knots, and none of them we can even name. Though, who am I kidding? You probably already thought I was an idiot. No, you're not an idiot. You're just thinking out loud too much. Or at the very least a weirdo recluse with no social skills. Look, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, okay? He probably only talks to me because he's sorry for me. No, it's because he thinks you're a genuine friend who can trust you with anything. Pitiful. And now to do something like this, I should just look already. There's nothing there. At least then I can get this embarrassment over with. My cheeks, my neck, my back, I feel so hot. Hot with shame. You could never like me. My breath comes out shaky and feverish, leaving moisture on my wrists. I'm a disgrace. You're not a disgrace, man. Just look already, you idiot. No. I've done this before. I've definitely done this before. And I'm not going to let it happen again. I press my hands into my eyes hard enough to make them pound. And in that instant of pain, the heat leaves. My chest unclenches. Coolness washes over my body like a breath of fresh air. What the... I wipe out my damp forehead, but keep my eyes clamped shut. That was... weird. I've never had force like that before. I mean, sure, my self-esteem had never been the greatest, but nothing like that. It's this boat. It has to be. I rock my heels back and forth and lick my lips. There's still only the sound of the water past the boat, that gentle rocking motion. Something brushes past my neck. Huh? I sit up straight as a rod. What the hell was that? There's something out there. Something here in the boat with us. Another brush. This time against my side. I can feel the cloth of my shirt flutter against my skin, and that sound. I can hear it. Its breath. It crackles and pops mere inches from my ear, almost like it's opening its mouth, opening its jaws, preparing to eat me whole. No, 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 no. Now it's playing with my hair. I can feel it shifting through my curls, dancing across the surface of my scalp. It wreathes and squirms, almost like a nest of snakes. Then lower. It curls beneath my chin. Lower. Sneaking underneath the collar of my shirt and brushing against my clavis. That word, I don't know how to say that word. I have to look. It's the only way to stop this. I brace myself, letting my hands slowly fall away from my ears. I sigh, then groan and jerk myself away with a renewed burst of concentration. The fiend disappears. No more strange caresses on my skin. No more brushes against my clothes. Blank about as close. Get a hold of yourself, Iggy. Don't you see what it's doing? No, you can't see. You close your eyes, man. I bite down my lip so hard that I can taste blood in my mouth. What'd you do that for? My body feels heavy. Heavy and cold. Like someone's draped a hefty blanket over my shoulders. But then I remember it's just the tongue from earlier. And my breath comes out ragged, as though I've just run a marathon. I curl my arms around my midsection, rocking back and forth atop my seat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. I clench my eyes even tighter, trying to ward off the fiend of dread curling its way up to my skin. Well, way up my skin. If it was allowed on YouTube, I would definitely, sing nursery rhymes aloud. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a nightmare. I can feel it in my arm. Warm, throbbing heat that wants to burst out of my veins. Merrily, 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 my head swims. Life is not a dream. Open your eyes, Iggy, we made it. Genzou? Genzou's voice is soft and comforting, and despite myself, I feel my guard dropping. Come on, Iggy, let's go, just the two of us. But Genzou, we'll be together forever, Iggs, right? Wait a minute, that's not Iggs. Only this time, his voice sounds much younger. Goodness sakes, I put my hands on my forehead, pressing against my eyes. This isn't real. This isn't real. I shake my head, take a deep breath, start my humming anew. Why did you abandon me? Don't you like me anymore, Eggs? It's your goddamn fault. Your fault I fell down those stairs. And now you won't even come visit me? That's not true, that's not true. Trill. I was all alone in that hospital. And then you wouldn't even help when I finally came back to school. I had to get goddamn Orlem to help me with my stuff. I was busy. Busy? Busy or scared? Or both. You can be busy while being scared. That's when the screams start. Ouch. I clench my eyes even tighter. Scared that your best friend might want to fight. No. I bite down my lips so hard I can taste blood in my mouth. Make it stop. And now you're too scared now too. Always too scared to help me when I really need you. I can't breathe, my head is pounding. Every nerve across my body is sending jolts of panic straight to my brain. Make it stop, Iggy! So it seems we would probably have to look. I can't take it anymore. With a choked sob, I begin to crack my eyes open. only for a sudden sensation to snap a spell. My muscles jump, nearly sending me straight off my perch. Somebody's grabbed my wrist. I panic for a moment until I realise it's Genzou. The real Genzou, not the one in my head. Upon this realisation, I slam my eyes shut just as a glimmer of light begins peeking in through my lashes. Goodness sakes, goodness sakes. This grip is so tight it's cutting off the circulation in my head, but I don't care. Instead I focus on it, on that fiend of warmth, my safety net, keeping me grounded in reality. In the next moment, the boat hits something and comes to a sharp stop, nearly sending me to the floor. I sit there, listening. Are we there yet? Are we there yet, Mom? It's quiet save for the gentle lapping of the water beneath the boat. And we're definitely not moving anymore. I chance it. Bright. That's the first thing I notice. All bright and beautiful. I had my eyes closed so long that the orange daylight now seems exceptionally brilliant. Hello. I blink against the glare, tears still streaking my cheeks, and attempt to survey my surroundings. Where's another dog, bobbing lazily in the water? My head shoots immediately to the side, looking for Genzou, needing to see him. He's still hunkered down on the seat across from me, his eyes closed and features contorted, and his fingers are still wrapped around my chest so tight that his knuckles have gone white. Genzou, I say softly at first, then louder when he doesn't respond. Genzou! Still nothing. So I reach down and pry his fingers away. This finally does the trick. His eyes pop open in surprise and confusion. I can see beads of perspiration dripping his cheeks and forehead. He takes a moment to look around before finally honing in on me. Oh, are we here? It seems like it. The boat stopped at least. I nod in the direction of the dock. Guess that means we should get off. Right, yeah, sure. You okay? Oh, yeah, sure. Very sure. He pulls his collar, raises to his feet. Guess I just got a little, seasick there. I wonder if Genzou had a similar sort of nightmare that we just did. We disembarked the boat in silence. So we had a nightmare within a nightmare. That's really comforting. Then stand on the dock unmoving. Genzou's hand finds my shoulder, but he says nothing. He just stands there with his fingers curled into the fabric. I bring my own hand up and give his knuckles a squeeze. Come on, path seems to lead this way. I point past the end of the dock and towards where a valley of dirt winds itself off and away from the river, bordered on either side by more trees. Yeah, but Genzou's voice lacks its usual vivacity. We start our trek away from the river without another word, just the two of us, walking down a dreamlike path in a world of fantasy with no idea where to go or what to expect next. Okay. I'm not sure how long we walk, but what we do know is that we are ending off this episode in the same visual context as when we first entered the episode with the Red Forest sort of thing. But here we got Arc 2 Gidget. So therefore at some point we're going to be encountering Gidget again in this tale. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think of this game so far down in the comment section below. I promise that the next episode will not take as long to both record and upload as it has been for the past few ones. I've been very busy with real life stuff at the moment. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next time of Our Wonderland. Our Wonderland. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everyone.